If y'all can't understand gender and stuff, it makes no sense how you can understand a boss raid in World of Warcraft or whatever the hell y'all think you can do in gaming. You're like, oh, that's too complicated. I can't figure it out. Screen any boss raid in World of Warcraft, Mary, and if you can figure that out, you can figure out gender across the LGBTQIA spectrum. Okay, honey? Hi everybody, it's me, the bitch from Twitch, Biqtch Puddin, and I'm here, a part of HyperX's Game Glow series to show you how to create this fantasy. I am Poison from Capcom's Final Fight / Street Fighter. She's been in a couple games, but she's the Capcom diva, and if you want to know how to do this look, stay tuned and watch how I recreate this with the help of MAC Cosmetics. Hey everybody, it's me, Biqtch Puddin, winner of Blade Brothers Regular Season 2, and I'm here with Game Glow, a series that inspires you to express yourself. I don't know about you, but I always express myself through gaming. My drag is inspired by video game vixens, and today we're paying tribute to one of the OG baddest bitches in the game, Poison from Final Fight and Street Fighter. As a non-binary person myself, I find her super inspiring as one of the first openly trans characters in gaming. She's a fierce phenom, she looks completely fucking hot, and she's just out there kicking ass. She's in Metro City. If you took New York City, Gotham, and any other bad city and combine it into one fucking hellhole, Metro City's a hard ass place to live, and she's out there running it in stilettos, cut off shorts, and a crop top mama, and she is whipping those boys into shape. So today we're gonna whip this mug into shape by first gluing down my brow. First, you're gonna disinfect. Just take some alcohol on your brow. But you just want to get those oils out of your brow to make sure we can get these brows as flat as possible. You're going to start out with one brow at a time. So we're doing semicircle, semicircle, semicircle. Stunning. So we're just going to spray it with water really quick just to make it malleable. If you mess up, don't worry about it. This comes off with water. Like, it's a water soluble glue stick. So now you're going to take some loose setting powder on a powder puff and press it into your eyebrow. And the goal is to make them disappear as best as we can, so when you put everything else on, you got a new canvas to work with. If my brows were thin, I would have just done it without this process, but I like the transformation of drag. And for those who don't know what drag is really intense makeup, and it's available and open to anybody. You can be any gender, any sexual preference. Baby, if you want to do drag, you can do drag. And this is the everyday drag look. I know some other tutorials, a part of the Game Glow series, are not as intense. This is a little bit more of an intense one, but feel free to adjust this whole process for yourself, and you can use it for any day kind of stuff. I like to do about 2 to 3 layers of this, so if you need 4 layers, feel free to do 4. Whatever coverage you need to block them brows out, do it, Mary. While this sets, I'm gonna go shave really quickly off camera and come back with a smooth face, because Poison definitely doesn't have a beard. Woo! You're ready to start the makeup process. First off is to moisturize, because you just stripped your face off of everything. Getting this moisturizer up, Mo. Don't eat the moisturizer. Don't do what I just did. I just took a whole bite of that in my mouth. It's now time to prime our face. So to prime our face for this foundation, we're gonna be using MAC Skin Refined Zone Treatment. Taking a good little dollop of that. I'm gonna put that all over this face and rub it in. I got my start in makeup working for MAC Cosmetics outside of doing drag in clubs and working in clubs. My friend worked at the MAC counter and was like, hey, like, you're kind of good with makeup, darling. You should come work at the MAC counter. When I got hired at MAC, my person that hired me was also a huge nerd. We talked about Final Fantasy and talked about fighting game characters such as Poison and Cammy and Chun-Li. We were obsessed. Shout out to Chelsea Daggers in Atlanta. Love you, girl. Okay, I just prepped my eye using MAC's Fast Response Eye Cream, and I used a little bit underneath and above. I'm not for sure if you're supposed to do either, but I did both, because guess what? We're gonna go in on the makeup today. I'm going a little heavy-handed today because I gotta cover up a lot of myself to be more feminine, but if you're inspired by Poison and you wanna do something a little bit more softer, not so heavy-handed, trust and believe this look can be achieved. And I'm covering those brows one more time with the Fix Concealer. And I like to use a little bit concealer underneath my eye, just a little bit. I'm gonna use the mustache and my chin stash, goatee. I don't know, what's the proper term for this? Now I promise, during this whole tutorial, I'm gonna look real crazy up until the last few seconds and everything's gonna come together. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, what in the world is Biqtch Puddin doing? Trust and believe in the process. It's gonna snap in the end and you're gonna gag. We're gonna use the MAC 170 brush and combine these two foundations. The BB8, the little lighter one, and along with the B37. And we're gonna combine these two to make a shade for myself. So I just put both of them back on my hand a little bit. I'm taking that MAC 170 brush and I'm gonna dab, and then we're gonna apply it onto the skin. I don't know about y'all on how you grew up, but I grew up as a Navy brat and I moved around quite a lot growing up. Moved about every year, if not sometimes 3 times in a year. I was a young queer kid and I got bullied a lot. Just being new, and it was hard making friends. So one of the constant things I had in my life was video games, and it honestly helped me deal with the bullying, because when I was feeling like shit, I could go home and pick characters like Poison, Chun-Li, Cammy, these Capcom video game vixens, and kind of lose myself in the video game and be empowered by these women kicking ass out of these thugs or these guys that kind of look like my bullies at school. I'm not saying all my bullies look like Ryu and Ken, but some of them did look like Guile and Zangief. So you know what? It was kind of fun just to go home and get my aggressions out in games like Final Fight and Street Fighter. But it's just kind of cool to find solace and safety within the realm of a video game character. And I just like found these women super inspiring. They were just so beautiful, looked fierce as hell, and just kicking ass. Like, I love women. Women are amazing. Women can do anything. If anybody tells you otherwise, screw them. So now you're gonna take a cream white stick. It doesn't matter, it's just a cream makeup. This is a highlight. You also could use concealer for this process. I like something more dramatic because I am a drag queen. And usually 9 times out of 10, I'm on a stage. And I like to manipulate the lights and the shadows in my face to make it more feminine. You can adjust this process however you want. I'm just buffing it into my T-zone to bring my cheeks forward. So now I'm grabbing a translucent powder that's more white or fair. We're doing that, we're hitting our highlight zone. So we're gonna hit the under part of our eye. We're gonna do the highlight in the T-zone. And that's our first powder. Now we're gonna use our second translucent powder. This one's closer to your shade range. And you're hitting this, all the other places you didn't hit the other one. And when you feel like a pancake, like a complete uncooked pancake, you know you're about ready to wipe it off. And you're also brushing it away, but also you're brushing it into the skin as well, blending it into the foundation that you just set. And you want a really big fluffy brush for this, that you only really do this or buff blending with. You don't want something that you have pigment on when you do this process. Because if you have hot pink on this and you just did what I did, you'll just have a hot pink face, which works if you're doing, I don't know, like Majin Buu. So now we're taking a MAC pencil in Chestnut to do our brows. Now, Poison has a very late 80s, early 90s thin brow. She came out in '89 and she just looks like those Glamour magazine girls who have the thin ass brows. We're gonna start from right here where our brow would normally start, and you're gonna make them a little bit higher. Our starting point's gonna be here, high point gonna be here, and our out point's gonna be here. And you just make 3 little dots. And you can just like connect them, and that's how you do some brows. So now we're going back into our cream white with a little concealer brush, like a little buttery nugget. So you're gonna take that and you're gonna follow underneath the brow and highlight it underneath, just like that. Now I took some mixing liquid and put it on my eyeshadow right here. And we're gonna take a flat angle brush. What we're gonna do is just little daggers. A little bit of hairs in the front to make it a little bit more natural, not so just completely drawn. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Brows don't have to be, because nothing's ever perfect. Now we're diving back into this beautiful MAC eyeshadow palette. This is the Flamboyant, and we're popping right back in it. We're gonna pop into this shade right here, which is called Dada Issues. Not Daddy Issues, Dada Issues. Dada is an artistic movement. Daddy is the person who is your father. Those are 2 different things. Just a nice medium-sized eyeshadow. We're just gonna take Dada Issues, and we're just gonna push that all over the lid. And the trick with drag, since we've raised our brow a bit, we're doing up and out because we want everything to go whoosh. Now I'm honestly curious, what is your favorite move from Street Fighter? Put it below. My favorite is Chun-Li's Kakoken. I also love it because she has like a different stance depending on which game you're playing. Her iconic one, she like pushes that out. But other ones, she kind of like just doing that. But how I got into video games was actually fighting games. My Uncle Tom introduced me to Street Fighter Alpha and Tekken 2, and those are both versions on the PlayStation 1. Now Poison, sometimes she has blue eyeshadow, sometimes she has just like a liner. Today we're going for a nice neutral smoky eye, because I feel like it's a balance of both. And it's also something I feel like everybody kind of wants to know how to do. It's like a nice natural smoky eye. Now natural, I'm saying natural for a queen. Now we're gonna use Embark, which is this guy right here. And you're just using little circles, little circle brushes. And it's fun with makeup to pull inspirations from everywhere. I constantly am inspired. Like, my drag persona, Biqtch Puddin, is heavily inspired by video game vixens. But it's also, you know, generally inspired by nostalgia. Literally, like, anything that really inspires me, like from my childhood or growing up, is what I put into my drag, whether it be video game vixen or even a weapon in a game. I'm like, I'll pull up the weapon sometimes. I'm like, you know what? This has a neon blue in it, and I'm just gonna be inspired by that. You can be inspired by anything that makes you feel powerful. I'm just always attracted to games when it comes to that, because who doesn't want to be a bad bitch in a game? And we're gonna take this little nice shade of orange and we're gonna pop it in right here, just in the beginning part. When we do pop in our blue eyes, you're gonna see such a dynamic difference within the makeup if you didn't add this orange before, because that blue is gonna react to the orange on the eye and they're gonna even look more blue. And to me, like, the contrast of a video game, especially a game like Final Fight or Street Fighter, where this character is from, is like the stark, bright, vibrant contrasts that pop. Actually, fun fact, Roxy, who debuted with Poison, was her sister, or like her sister counterpart in the game. And it was her and Roxy that you would fight, and both of them are trans characters, which is kind of fierce. Roxy has always since been a color palette swap when Poison became a selectable character in Street Fighter. Her sister was there at the beginning when she came across the States from Japan in Final Fight in 1989. Now we got the eyeshadow. We're gonna cut this crease. Eyeshadow would work. I'm using a black pencil just because, you know, it's easier to smoke out. So I'm just gonna take this around the crease, and we're just gonna cut this crease. Now, I said this is a natural smoky eye. Well, this is natural for Poison because she is a woman of the street. She is out there in Metro City working, hustling, beating people up. It's a dark city, so she's doing a dark smoky eye. Fan the Flames and Flamboyant. Well, wow, I guess that's the whole palette's named after this, so we should try that. To make a foil shadow really pop, you wanna wet your brush. I'm gonna use MAC's Prep and Prime. And what I'm gonna do is spray this on my brush. You probably don't need that much, but I wanted it wet. All right, and we're gonna go into the Flamboyant, and we're gonna pop it in right here. And to blend it, I'm gonna go over with the other shade. Now that we've cut the crease and applied the same shadow to both sides, now we're gonna do some eyeliners. Oh, bitch! Sorry, excuse my French. I know this is the Blondes official liner. I love the Blondes. Oh my God. Love the Blondes. Fashion icons. They would do some fierce Poison. Oh, could you imagine if the Blondes did Poison? I'm salivating in my mouth right now. That's fine. And if y'all can't understand gender and stuff, it makes no sense how you can understand a boss raid in World of Warcraft, or whatever the hell y'all think you can do in gaming. If you can't understand different genders exist on this planet, you're like, oh, that's too complicated. I can't figure it out. Screen any boss raid in World of Warcraft, Mary, and if you can figure that out, you can figure out genders across the LGBTQIA spectrum. Okay, honey? And that's on period. All right, we're gonna do the Blondes liner right here, right now. Thank you, Mac, for sending me all these goodies. So I can pot roast these straight gamers who think they know everything. All right, we're gonna do this liner right here. Now that we have liner on both of our eyes, we're gonna take MAC's Extreme Dimension Lash Mascara and coat our top and bottom lashes with this. And a trick to getting good mascara is making a funny face. Take that black liner we used earlier, line our waterline. Now we're gonna put on our lashes. I custom make my lash. Do whatever lash that fits for your shape. Or if you're doing this a little bit more smaller for a more everyday kind of look, feel free to use the lash that you use every day. The beautiful thing about Game Glow, this series that we're doing on HyperX, is that we're basically taking inspiration from these characters that we're inspired by and doing a makeup look based on them. It doesn't have to be completely, you know, 100% by the book. Part of the fun of like dressing up, putting on makeup, and becoming one of your favorite video game characters is like you can create it the way you want to. There's no rule book, but there's always cheat codes. God, I'm fucking corny. Now, I hope you're trusting the process. In the beginning, you were like, I don't know where she's going. And you're like, I don't know where she's going still, but we're almost there, baby. Okay, now that we have our eye beat, we're gonna contour. We're just taking like this brush here, this contour brush. I like a shark tooth one. Just kind of gives you a different dimension. If you had to use this one palette to do your whole face, you really could. Get a nice caked on there, you brush out the excess, and you're gonna start babyly. Round out, make it a little bit more feminine. Because there's one thing Poison is a woman. Contour that chin. And now we're gonna take this darker shade right here, which was Embark. Just got a little nugget right here. We're gonna take them on that same contour brush. We're gonna apply a little bit on the outside. Taking a little bit, and you can build it up to make it deeper and darker if you want. And to contour your nose, this works for me, might not work for you. Noses are really hard and hard to figure out. I watched a fellow drag queen Detox contour her nose once, and that's how I figured out how to do mine, because mine is really tiny up here, the widest here, and medium here. It's kind of like a weird diamond. So what I do is just take a little bit of Dada Issues, which was this warmer, neutral tone we were using, and then I just take it and go down the sides of my nose and coat it with that eyeshadow. I take a littler brush with that darker shade, and I will contour the bottom part of the nose. I love how this thing glows. She's like telling me all colors of the rainbow. She's giving me all different kind of pride swag. Asexual pride, non-binary pride, trans pride, gay pride, lesbian pride. Look at her go. She's doing it. All right, and now we're doing a nice bright red lip. We're gonna use a combination of chili, just this beautiful warm brown tone, along with the iconic, the original cool red from MAC Cosmetics Wooby Woo. This is the very first lipstick I ever bought when I started doing makeup. It's my favorite. Also, MAC lipsticks smell like cookies. It smells like warm vanilla sugar, and I love it. I'm gonna line my lips with a red lip liner. I'm gonna take chili and apply it to my outer corners of my lip. And now I'm gonna grab Wooby Woo. Now, Poison's lips are sometimes pink, sometimes they're black, sometimes red. I like her with a red lipstick. I think it contrasts the pink really beautifully. After doing the lip, you take a little flat brush like this, and we're gonna go back into our Flamboyant palette. So we're gonna take this really dark red shade right here, and we're just gonna darken the side of the lip. So we're just gonna go out to the corner. So now that we darken the lip on the outer edges, it just gives us more of a gradient, and that is the fantasy we are serving. Doesn't it look more cartoon, right? And that's what we're inspired by. Street Fighter, Final Fight, those vibes. Now we're gonna pop in the blush, because honey, she's a late 80s, early 90s girl. She's actually designed, kind of look like somewhat of a groupie of an 80s rock band. There's a reason for that, because the maker of the game actually named a lot of the characters in Final Fight after iconic 80s rock bands, and Poison was actually named after the band Poison. So we're gonna go in with this beautiful blush. So your trick is to smile and to softly work it in. And when you smile, you can see where your cheek, like your balls of your cheeks pop out. That's what you wanna hit. Now we got the blush on there. If it's a little too much, you're gonna take your beauty blender, and recut that bottom cheek. See how every angle kind of slightly goes up in a gradient? Is to bring out, the feminize the face and to snatch it all back. I'm gonna try using this as a highlighter. We used it earlier on our lid. It's called What's the Pointillism? Pointillism is actually an art movement. It's really cool. A lot of these Dadaism is an art movement. There's a lot of references up in here. MAC is woke. So when you do highlighter, it's best with a dewy face to really get the most out of your highlight. And get a nice... So while it's dewy like this is the trick. Hit that little area, and this is a nice highlight shade. And we're gonna pop it in right here on the tip of our cheeks. And we're gonna hit our tip of our nose and also right underneath the brow. So the really big thing about fighting games to me, coming up in a queer person, being bullied in school, I wasn't able to actually go out and like have a consistent best friend growing up. It was always my video games. I'd go back and play these iconic women in video games and kind of lose myself and be inspired by them kicking ass on the TV screen, and it would just let me get my aggression out through the day. And I kind of thought I was alone in that regard until one day, while working a part-time job at a strip mall, located in that strip mall is a GameStop, and I walked in one day and they had Capcom vs. SNK2 up on the screen. And they had two controllers, and people were just lined up to play this game. That's how I was introduced to the fighting game community, otherwise known as the FGC. And I found a whole bunch of people like me. We just shared this passion through gaming, and it was honestly the first time I ever had guys that were friends up until I did do drag. It was easier always for me to make friends with girls. Girls were always nicer and sweeter when I moved to a new school. I didn't really have that camaraderie until I found the fighting game community. And then I found people who educated me that Poison was trans. I didn't know Poison was a trans character up until I met that community and they educated me on it. And I got to find out that Eagle from Street Fighter was also queer, that there's a lot of queerness in the fighting game that I played growing up. It kind of uncovered this huge cloth that, was my safety net. And I didn't realize why I was resonating with so much until I joined the fighting game community and they showed me the queerness within all these beautiful characters. That's why I'm doing Poison today specifically, because it means so much to me. It was such a safe place for me to go to And also it was super empowering when I didn't have a voice, when I didn't have power, when I didn't have self-confidence. And now when I found drag and I was able to realize, oh my gosh, drag's fun. I can be, you know, like I can put on a wig and be funny and comedic, but I also can pull from those fighting games I played through all those women that were fucking fierce and amazing and make this beautiful blend of like, you know, Poison mixed with Power Ranger mixed with something else. And that's really deep down why I really love Poison. Now for the final step before we transform into look, we're gonna pop on our contacts. Oh, God damn it. That's good. All right, this is our makeup tutorial. Ooh, 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 ooh. Bitch, I almost forgot. I like to add a little bit of highlight on my lip, and we're just gonna take it on our little ring finger and we're gonna press it in just like that. All right, now I'm gonna put on a look and I'll see you right back in a few seconds with the full Poison fantasy. Oh, and we're back with the finished look. How are you liking this recreation, this inspiration of Poison from Final Fight or Street Fighter, depending on which game you're playing? I feel all kinds of setting. I got the nails on, I got the fantasy on, but what really carries this through is this makeup. Baby, I feel like I popped out of a Capcom arcade machine and I can feel every pixel coming to life. This Capcom diva inspired me to be who I am today. Inspires me throughout all my drag. Literally, I would not be here today if it wasn't video game vixens. They inspired me at my darkest times and gave me the strength that I needed to get through that day and live who I am, my beautiful, colorful pastel self. And I'm curious to know what you're inspired by, so please comment below and let me know what your favorite video game vixen is, or what video game character inspired you to pick up a makeup brush and beat that face, mama. I want to see you recreate it, so please tag me across all social media. It's BIQTCHPUDDIN, and also tag HyperX, because we want to see what you're doing, baby. I want to see what you're recreating and what you're inspired by. Then I also want to shout out to MAC Cosmetics. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Literally could not do it without you guys today. Also, HyperX, thank you for dropping some goodies. Thank you for dropping the mic, baby. Thank you for giving the girl a mic. I like this little rainbow rod. She kind of reminds me of Navi, you know, in Zelda. I hope you enjoyed by watching this while you took a poop, and thank you for stopping by for Game Glow. I am Biqtch Puddin, and thank you so much, HyperX, for having a bitch. See you next time. Bye! Wait, before you go, don't go anywhere. There's plenty of other HyperX Game Glow episodes. Why don't you go check them out and comment below what other looks you want to see me do, because I love the other video games too. I know I talked about fighting games today, but I love scary games. I love shooting games. I love Tetris. My mom's favorite game is Frogger. You want me to look like Frogger? Comment below. I could be Squish Frogger. That is a fantasy. It's kind of sad, but I can serve it. Let me know below.